close this stupid Google. Hi there, everybody in internet land. There's nobody here yet, most likely, but I am here with my friend and neighbor, Jacob with Portland Pickers. How are you doing, Jacob? Lovely to see you.
I am doing crypto clex.
You're a kleptomaniac. You were freaking out earlier, weren't you?
I was losing my crypto mind.
You were like, "Holy crap! I might have just lost $900."
I really hoped that was not the case, and
No,
I
it
trust you. But the system is so new. So when you're doing your first couple transactions, you you're not familiar with
the
how the
system
system
is
works.
new to you. I think that's hey Mama J. I think that the system is new to you. Litecoin's from like 2012 or something like that.
No, yeah,
Uh,
that's what I meant. I mean, it's new to me. I'm not saying it's new.
exactly, and you have to have an inherent trust that it will actually work. But we tested out the addresses with a very small amount to see if they did work, right?
Exactly. But then I
So
used a different address for the second transaction because it says don't use the same address all the time. It
yeah,
says
no, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to create a string of information that could be used to attack you.
right.
Um, so we're talking about we did it. We actually had a transaction that we did in Litecoin today, and everyone's talking about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is obviously has always been the major currency. It was the first currency to have parity with the dollar, meaning one Bitcoin for $1, and I think that happened in like 2000, very, very soon after its inception. And it's been all over the place, price wise, um, volume wise, trading wise, and now speculators are getting involved, and all kinds of things are changing. And even back then, there were seven, eight, 900 coins. I was talking about pot coin the other day, and it still exists, and the market cap's like millions of dollars. So those guys, if they kept that stuff, they did pretty good. There's been every cryptocurrency that I've looked at has been pumped up by 3 or 4 times its value like a month ago. So there's a huge pump in just crypto money coming in. And I'm not really sure the source of that or why that's happening or any of those kind of things, but it is happening. And beyond that, whether, what I've told you before, and I think is very, very true, it's really understanding how you trade these things, why you trade these things, and what could affect their value, just like a stock. I don't really, they're not really stocks because I can't. Let's say I own WorldCom stock or MCI stock or Fruit Loop stock or whatever. Like I can't trade that with you in real time like we did today. Now, Litecoin has a couple of cool features. It has really, really short block times. So um, there's 2 minute block times, meaning every 2 minutes a new transaction block is created. Therefore, like pushing pushing the new coins to their new addresses and like settling transactions. The crazy thing about Litecoin is it was invented to have very, very low or possibly low transaction fees. So you can actually adjust the transaction fee if you're willing to wait. So the priority transactions that have a higher transaction fee will go through first,
Right.
and then the ones lower will go second. And we when we push your transaction through, we change it from zero point zero 0.01 to 0.001 basically, so an order of magnitude. And it went from 2 minutes to what, like 9 hours,
Let's
eight
see.
hours.
At what time did we do it at?
We did the minimum
It was like 2 o'clock when we did it, and it didn't
six,
go through until
6 hours.
about 8.
Yeah, so about 6 hours. So the transaction took about 6 hours, but that was really a good experiment actually. I wish I would have done James Hester says World Comstock. Ouch, that's you're making some bad memories. Oh yeah, that was a crazy pump and dump. Anyway, so we traded some Litecoin, which is pretty cool, and then I am man, my brain is hurting right now. Um, uh, and then so Jacob learned how to use the protocol first, and now maybe he understands how it works a little bit better and how you can protect yourself from fraud and understand how transactions occur and all that kind of thing. And I had no idea about how you could change the fees. Hi, Adrian West. Treadway. I had no idea that you could change the fee amounts on Litecoin because I really hadn't traded Litecoin before. So it was really cool. The initial trades were really, really fast, but it seems like the network was also bogged down because at the same time, uh, earlier in the day, I had sent one with like a maximum transaction fee just to see how long it took, and it still took like 2 minutes. So pretty cool. Litecoin was invented initially to combat some of the quick transaction issues that Bitcoin would have in the future, like it's having now. So I think that's why some value is being spread, through Litecoin. And so let's talk about like blockchain technology and what it means and why it's important. So, Jacob, do you know what a blockchain is?
Software? Is that?
No,
It's not software.
no, no,
It's
no, no.
it's a strand of information.
So blockchains can include software applications. So that's what Ethereum has. That was the cutting edge technology that Ethereum brought to the market. What's up, Krillin? Um, but in the for Litecoin, for example,
Yeah.
so you have so it's like a snake moving through time, right? So this is there's let's say we have two Bitcoin, right? Two Bitcoin, and there was a transaction where zero point 0.5 Bitcoin went here, then 5 point Bitcoin went here and here and here and here. So first we have to resolve those addresses. They need to exist, and we need to record those transactions so that when the block drops as part of this road of transactions, this open ledger, which isn't software, the ledger itself is not software. It's an open ledger that anybody can read. That's what it's, and you can't change it. It's completely it's verified by multiple computers. So these nodes are verifying these transactions, right? This transaction is right. This transaction is right. This transaction is right. This transaction is right. They all verify it, and so they get this
Before you
consensus.
go too much further,
Mhm.
I think where I got very caught up and still I know very little is imagining where this exists. So it's where do these blockchains exist?
On the nodes. So when you download the blockchain and you interact with the blockchain,
Okay.
you become a holder of the blockchain. So all the when to be a miner, you have to have the blockchain, right?
Yes.
Because in order to add a block to the chain, so these nodes verify the transactions, and then the nodes. So the network software is programmed to for a set of new transactions to pop through and match up every 10 minutes. So let's say there were 4,000 transactions.
Okay.
It should take 10 minutes to solve that block for that next block to go out, then the next block, and then the next block. Now with Bitcoin, and I think Litecoin as well, we're in a genesis phase. So included in that block is 25 Bitcoin, or 12.5 now. So there's a number of Bitcoin included in that block, right? So for the reward for solving the block are the transaction fees that were aggregated through transactions on the block, right?
Yeah.
And that's in percentages of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is ridiculously valuable right now, so obviously the monetary value of those transactions is very high because Bitcoin is like 15,000. It's like 15,000, $15,000, and like the minimum the minimum fee is like 0.001 Bitcoin or whatever it is. So that the transaction fees are really high. Um, so there's these minimum transaction fees, and those can be changed through software updates and all kinds of stuff. That's where things like Bitcoin Cash come from. But let's continue to talk about, like, in my mind, how I've kind of visualized, in our minds, how we kind of visualize this, and like where we're wrong and where we're right. So in order for that block to be dropped at the end of the road and show how this piece of time connects to this piece of time, this is 10 minutes and it precedes this 10 minutes. So all of these things happened in this 10 minutes basically, and we're all verifying those things happen. And nobody can say, people can't send the same Bitcoin to two different addresses, things like that. You can't double spend or do this or do that. So it resists hacking in that way. So what happens is there's a 256 character alphanumeric code that basically there's more combinations than you could ever even imagine. And these computers, they create a number string, a random number string, and try to plug it into this plug that is this password. And if they match, you have solved the block, and therefore you get the reward. So that's why you have these giant computers with all these cards that are made to like create these hashes, and then those hashes are driven through the Bitcoin mining software to attack the block, to attack that that key basically to unlock it. So um,
I mean that there's unpredictable time that it takes to solve each block.
so right. So as the stability changes, yeah, we can talk about Mount Gox for a second because that's what everybody needs to avoid. I teach people when I show people what I know about cryptocurrency, it's because of things like Mount Gox, and it's because of mistakes that I've made in the past too. So um, this stuff isn't to be toyed around with if you don't want to lose your ass. Okay, it's really true. Um, we'll talk about Mount Gox in a second, but I want to continue to talk about where the block. So let's go to the next step. So all of these people who have the blockchain are are they have these nodes, basically these independent nodes,
Which
and
is
one
not
turns off and another one turns on, and it downloads the blockchain, right? Because it needs the blockchain in order to solve the next block, because it can't verify that these transactions match up. If you said, Bitcoin 2 went to Bitcoin 7, but there was no Bitcoin 2, then you know that that couldn't happen, right? It was an error on the blockchain. So there are these logical, simple steps that anybody can go back through and look at. So that's kind of like the very basics of what a blockchain is. Blockchains are not necessary for cryptocurrency to work, though. There's other decentralized. Why it's decentralized is because no one entity owns the blockchain and nobody can stop you from using the mining software. I mean, you could secretly run it under your bed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not if you're in China and they say and they stop you from doing it forcefully, obviously you can't do it. But it's open source, and you can actually you can download the blockchain and look at it. So does that
I wanted
kind
to
of make
ask you
so?
if
Wait. Let me. I'm sorry. Let me go back to the whole. You asked a question about block time. It's supposed to be 10 minutes, but let's say there's just so much activity that it adds complexity, but it adds complexity too fast. After every 2,016 blocks, it adjusts the difficulty to make the block time go back to 10 minutes. So it decreases the difficulty so that transactions can be solved, which means that like mining becomes more juicy just during certain times. I mean, it has to be. It's an ebb and flow of its juiciness.
gotcha. So
Um,
I'm interested in how did they distribute Bitcoin Cash? So if you were a holder of Bitcoin several months ago,
the fork happened in August, so I went back and researched it a little bit.
so how did they, because it's anonymous, right? You have your Bitcoin. No one knows that you have Bitcoin unless you inform them.
Hmm.
Everything is transacted anonymously. So how do they know how to distribute Bitcoin Cash?
It didn't get distributed. I think that your understanding is so a new blockchain was formed. And in order for that new blockchain to be formed, so there was a blockchain, okay? And it had information,
Yeah,
right? Had information, and you had an address. And in order for it to go to the next level, it had to have the same values. So the rules changed. And because the rules changed, you continued to have your Bitcoin and you acquired Bitcoin Cash. And then from that point on, they split apart. So anything that happens from that point on is separate. So now, if you had your Bitcoin on an exchange, like the exchange owns your wallet, not you. So therefore, maybe you didn't get your Bitcoin Cash until yesterday. If you were like on a site like Coinbase, they held it the whole time. But all you had to do is get wallet software and have your private key, and you would have access to your funds. So you could have,
it's
again,
it's still a little bit
in
confusing.
order for the fork to have occurred,
Yeah,
miners had to disagree on how Bitcoin worked. They
gotcha.
did that, and in order for them to do that, they had to be mining, right? So they said, we want block time to be 1 minute instead of 10 minutes. Okay. That's a rule change, right?
Yeah,
So people, you can't change the original software of the blockchain. You have to develop a way to fork it in order to do this experiment. Whether, there's going to be a huge fight between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. I would, if I was anybody, I would learn why they're different if you really want to understand. Obviously, like the word Bitcoin is thrown out everywhere, but seriously, there's like 1,400 cryptocurrencies. And I don't even think cryptocurrency is a good word. I think they're digital assets. And I think the term digital asset is a much, much better way to describe it because the power of the networks that they like, the power of the Bitcoin network is indescribable. If they use that to solve like world problems instead of like, if they use that computing power to actually like drive something different. I mean, this is very important because we need to free ourselves from the banking systems that enslave us. And that's step one. And that's what these things are going to do. So if you think it's a bubble and you think it's nonsense, you might be right, but it doesn't matter whether you're right or not if you don't understand it. And you can't be right unless you understand it. So you can't just say, well, Bitcoin is a bubble and you should listen to me because it is. Uh, that's nonsense. Why would you listen to somebody who's uninformed? Do you ever, if somebody who worked at Target and never went to a garage, went to an estate sale, told you that the estate sale that you were going to was going to suck and you should go to this other one instead, what would you do? You wouldn't listen to them because they have no experience, right?
damn
This
right.
is very pure logic. So this distributed ledger, this blockchain,
So what I was trying to get at with my question was when they forked, how did you access your Bitcoin Cash? Did it appear in your Bitcoin wallet, or did
no, because
you
it's
have to
not,
tell?
it can't go into a Bitcoin wallet. It's not Bitcoin.
Exactly. So how
So
did you?
so the miners who continued to mine
Yeah,
Bitcoin Cash added to the blockchain. You download the blockchain, you have your private key,
yeah.
which is the same as it was when it forked, because the information at the time of the fork is the same.
Gotcha. Okay, so you set up a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and you use the same private key as your Bitcoin wallet.
Correct.
Okay, see that would have been a concise answer.
That's what I said before.
This
You
is
just weren't
live and
listening.
recorded
Exactly. This is live and recorded, and you'll be able to go back and see that that's exactly what I said.
in a very convoluted manner, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're drinking water out of
Break
a
this down
jug.
for the fifth graders.
There's like nobody in this chat listening right now. It's hilarious. This is what I wanted it to be, kind of. All right,
It's
so we're gonna sideline for a second. We're gonna talk about Mount Gox or MT Gox. There was a guy named Mark Karpellis. and he was a computer programmer dude, and he started this money exchange for like Magic cards or something. It was called Magic the Gathering Online Exchange,
Magic the Gathering.
MTGOX. What?
He was selling Magic the Gathering cards.
Yeah, well, it was a place for you to exchange them securely or something like that.
Right.
Um, so Bitcoin came around and it was nothing. I mean, nobody knew anything about it. It didn't even matter. So they started exchanging money for Bitcoin, Bitcoin for money, but they got hacked multiple times, didn't tell anybody, and just kept taking deposits, and it was like a Ponzi scheme. They were like robbing Nancy to pay Nimrod. And then all of a sudden people tried to take their money out. They made a run on the bank. That's what Bitcoin actually defends on, is like runs on the bank. They made a run on this bank. He couldn't pay, and they went under. And then they found some, and they didn't find some. But it was people put their Bitcoin in the hands of other people um, that they didn't know or trust. So you're going to hear a lot about trustless consensus, trustless contracts, where like trust becomes obsolete, and the software contract is written so well that in once you gain consensus, whatever that is, there's disbursement. So therefore trust is no longer needed. You'll keep hearing these like trustless, the term trustless. And it's not that you can't trust it, it's that trust is not required. So imagine like a transaction where no trust is required. And it's hard for me to imagine that a transaction like that. But I mean, those are the perfect transactions. James Hester said, as cryptocurrency continues to develop and goes more mainstream, does that change the relationship between government and people? Yes, it does, in a very, very, very big way. In the same way that Airbnb disrupted hotels and Uber disrupted taxi and transportation, and will continue to disrupt transportation. This is going to cause mass disruptions to government, the way government has spent money, the way that they can spend money. We're going to be able to demand transparency, and we're going to be able to say, you know what, you can't drop those bombs, you know. And I think it's going to change the way that the world works. Now, they're not going to go down without a little kicking and screaming. Um, and they may have developed some of these cryptocurrencies or pre-mined them or have some interest in them. I'm not really sure. Um, and I'm not saying that, I haven't gained any massive wealth from these things. And I'm not espousing this to do that, because I think that that's where you get into a lot of danger. Danger, 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 the FOMO danger and all that kind of stuff. It's like people will buy these currencies without even knowing how to use them, without having a wallet on their computer. Like you, these are digital assets that people can steal from you, and they're actually worth money, and they'll continue to be worth money. They'll continue to be worth a lot of money, and networks will continue to fork to figure out how to deal with these massive, massive market caps. Bitcoin has a market cap of $300 billion. $300 billion. That's like, was that like Apple? I mean, that's huge.
And
That is huge.
if you consider what it was 5 months ago, what
Yeah,
happened?
the market cap was like 70, which was still a lot.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, I don't
so
understand how
it's
price is
people's perception of it is what made it more valuable.
correct, and that's what makes currency valuable, people's perception of it. Okay, like in Argentina, like people don't want Argentine money because it sucks. Like there's so much inflation. You only want to have enough cash to spend today. Like you don't want money just sitting there, because basically every year you lose 25% of your money. Well, it was designed that way. And these were designed so that you couldn't just print whatever you wanted whenever you wanted.
I
These
feel
are these are digital assets that cannot be cloned, cannot be copied. It can only be stolen if these keys are granted. And the computing power that it would take just to crack a private key on a single private key would basically take all of the computing power in the entire world for like a century.
Is that real?
Yeah,
My God.
yeah, yeah. These are like ask there's more possible Bitcoin addresses than there are stars in the visible universe. And you're talking about, galaxies with whatever
Like
half a
200 billion.
trillion stars. What?
That's like 200 billion times 200 billion times.
Whenever governments get involved, things get really, really shady because they want their cut. They want to create bureaucracy to, help their friends out. What is that called when you do that? What's the word?
Crony?
It's not cronyism, it's nepotism.
No, okay, no.
Cronyism is like when you take people who like uphold you no matter what and you put them in office around you. So like dictators love cronyism, They don't because you want people around you who just do whatever the hell you want. So a bunch of stuff got stolen from Mt. Gox. People still put their money into it. They didn't put their money in their own Bitcoin wallets because they didn't understand it back then. You know, downloading the blockchain. I remember when I first downloaded the Bitcoin blockchain, it took like 5 days or something, and it wasn't even like very big. So
How long
there was a what's up?
how long would it
I don't know. It's 500,000 blocks right now.
I actually don't have the Bitcoin blockchain.
I don't either because I don't use Bitcoin. It's too hard to use. Why have it? I mean, it's good to have it so that you can instantly trade or whatever, but
What's the time right now, the
the
blockchain?
block time of Bitcoin is like insane, apparently. Let me see. Let me see. It's supposed to not go above 10 minutes though, but it only changes every 2 weeks apparently, based on the block time. Bitcoin block time. Let's see.
Is
Like the numbers is like top Bitcoin wallets prove confirmation time is a myth. Average confirmation time. So it is right now. So you can look these things up on the internet. They'll do like there'll be like a computer that's like counting all of the hashes and it's counting all of the hashes and like doing the math. So on 12/16/2017, the block time was 1,188 minutes, meaning that's how long it would take for your average transaction to be approved. But then the computer system dropped it down to like 30. It's been sitting in the 40s. It's been sitting about around an hour for like the last week. So
is that because people have transitioned onto other
it's
coins?
because there's so many people mining, it's like raising the difficulty so that the network can't be attacked by brute force. That's
Gotcha.
what it does. It defends itself. That's why I was thinking like that's why I was saying before like AI was involved in creating this thing because it's interesting how it works. It would rather take 1,200 minutes to solve a transaction than like expose itself to possible attack. It will complexify itself so deeply based on the number of hashes that are being thrown at it that it just can get so complex. I mean, imagine so it took all of the computers mining Bitcoin in the entire planet 1,188 minutes to solve like an equation. I mean, that's a crazy equation. Our nose is off. What does that mean? Our nose is off. Oh, Hazel Heart's Vintage and Treasure Hustlers are making faces in our chat right now. Yeah, many countries have had I mean, hyperinflation in the what was the German pre-Reich Germany?
Oh, you're,
the Weimar Republic, that basically led to like Hitler coming into power. You know, it went from like 5 to 5 million Deutschmarks or Reichmarks or whatever the hell they were in like a couple of years. I've got a collection of them of Weimar Republic dollars somewhere, whatever they are. Weimar, yeah, Krillin knows.
so
So
that's one thing that a lot of, I think it makes it more difficult for Americans to understand is we've always felt pretty secure with our dollar, right?
yeah,
I mean,
well
even though we
yeah,
have inflation every single year, an
we
average
just didn't realize it
3%,
because yeah,
we're pretty comfortable in our illusion that our dollar is secure, right?
yeah.
So
It's a very strong illusion.
it is. And I
Yeah.
think that is why a lot of people are looking at, an alternative currency.
I think the confidence in government is just completely denuded. Like we feel like we need government to work, but it doesn't work, so we need another.
Right.
I Krillin asked if we've seen the. So is it possible to have a digital currency with all the security benefits of Bitcoin, but easy for the end user to use? Absolutely. It's called Litecoin.
There's there's 1,400 currencies, other
Yeah. So
coins right now.
they're all easy to use with experience. The thing is, they're initially difficult because there's a learning curve, and the learning curve is there so that you can build security into your network and your trading systems. And Jacob has learned about this in the last couple of days. So, um, I don't know how long did it take us to do that initial Litecoin trade? Like 4 days, 5 days?
Basically, because I had to download the Litecoin Core wallet and
Hmm.
Litecoin blockchain.
And that took like two
2 days.
days.
It took 2 days to get the whole blockchain and catch up to present time. And then, well, just to coordinate our
Well,
schedules.
because I wasn't going to send that coin to some coin exchange. I was going to send it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Which is smart. That's what you really want to do.
Yes.
And I took my time setting up everything, doing more research, so I really understood how to properly encrypt my wallet and understand how to use my wallet. And
Yeah.
that's the thing is, it can be, well, because right now it's not as user friendly. You really have to have the due diligence and um, put in the effort to figure out how this works. Because once it's user friendly and everyone has it, which will probably be 2, 3, 4 years from now, you won't. I mean, it won't have the same volatility, but it won't have the same, um,
Volatility.
yeah, the same risk and reward scenario. Not that
Exactly.
I'm necessary. I mean, I like investing. That's what this business and the gamble a little bit. That's kind of what the business is for me. I buy something for low with the anticipation to sell it for more. And
Yeah,
I speculate on value. That's what we do. I mean,
absolutely.
we don't know when it's going to sell, if it's going to sell. We just have an understanding of what makes things valuable. So for
Well, I mean, you also take a lot of things and you're like, oh, okay, I know like I'm going to spend $20 for all of this stuff, and I'm absolutely sure the market will support getting $100 for this within the next 90 days, you know?
on
So,
average,
yeah, on average. So,
now
yeah, I mean,
what's
what
so
we do,
fascinating about um, altcoins is what makes them valuable. Why are people finding value in these things? It's our
it's not
responsibility as resellers to be informed
everything.
on everything.
Yeah,
Because if you come across it and you have glazed eyes and you're just like looking past it, that's an opportunity you missed. That's your livelihood. This is our livelihood. So for me,
absolutely. And why would you rob yourself of, I mean, let's say somebody you trusted wanted to partner to do something awesome and they wanted you to be a part of it and you didn't even know what cryptocurrency was, but you had this other experience. I mean, I wouldn't be involved in any business venture that I didn't have, some knowledge about and understanding about. And, I mean, I think both of you and I are, you know, we're probably more bearish than bullish in many financial aspects. Just generally, that's our approach. We have a more bearish approach to like how we buy what we buy, how we sell what we sell,
I mean,
and how we
I,
transact.
I don't know what means you came from, but I we don't have to get into our backstories of of how poor we were, but
Never had shit.
everything I have now, I could essentially do without. I'm acclimated to it in the sense that I've worked really hard and this is what I've established for myself. But I was used to hand-me-downs, and I still I still have like I don't change my wardrobe every year. I could afford to change it every month.
Dude, as far as I know, you have one pair of pants.
Exactly. And everyone knows that about me. They're like,
Yeah, dude, I'm really pissed because the pants I'm wearing today, like the zipper broke, and I just love these pants. I definitely got them again.
and you were going to wear those pants until the knee holes are split and you can't take it any longer. So anyway, I came up from very just minimal means, and I built a frugality into my lifestyle so that I could appreciate less but enjoy more if I wanted to. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
with my business, I if it looks like a good opportunity, I'm going to throw money at it because I don't need the money. You know, it's
Well, yeah, you're taking calculated risks on things that are within your kind of wheelhouse, and you're also taking risks to learn about things. It's like me buying stamps the other day. Like, I don't know if I'm going to make any money on the stamps. I actually didn't buy them to make money on the stamps. Like, when I check out a new cryptocurrency and start to read about it and then download a wallet and then like try to put $5 into it and then transfer it back, use it, see how it works, see how fast it is, see what the conditions are, and the network conditions, and how it works. It's kind of the same way. You don't have to know about all 1,000 of them. I'm not going to. Absolutely not going to. It's not my main profession, but
yeah.
I can tell you it's becoming important, very important. It's like, so all the people who are saying bubble this and bubble that and this and that and blah blah blah, these are the same people who are saying no one will ever use the internet. While Jeff Bezos is like, I'm selling books. Let's sell something that everybody wants, and let's do it on the internet. So um, it is like information to the internet. It's like this whole money internet that isn't centralized like the internet can be. So it's really, really interesting. It's just the ways you can do it and the applications are so broad, and the ability for you not to be defrauded by banks, by governments, by other business entities, and those kind of things are really, really grand. So that's pretty cool.
If you think about it, our current financial system is money is used to control people in the sense that
Absolutely.
your bank account could be frozen tomorrow for whatever legal reason. Your bank just could freeze your funds.
Yeah, because you can't be your own bank with cash money, but you can be your own bank with cryptocurrency, with digital assets.
It's
So this is a really good example. This is a great example. So there's a blockchain, and it's a mortgage blockchain or whatever. It's an ownership blockchain for houses. And so you did the deed for your house, right? It was expensive and it took a long time, right?
it didn't take a long time, but uh, as far as
It took a long time compared to what it could take.
sure, I mean, if it had taken 10 minutes or an hour, yeah, that would have been a lot faster. But it was fairly quick. I mean, depending on what your readiness is capital wise and transacting, but you transfer the money to an intermediary, and
Hmm.
they collect a bunch of information about the title, what's the condition of it, have all these conditions been met.
You have a mortgage, or did you pay for your house in cash?
I have a mortgage.
Okay.
So the title company is verifying all this information, but and that does take time because all the conditions have to be met,
Hmm.
and they distribute cash to the bank.
So all of that takes a lot of time because
Yeah,
they need to
it takes
communicate on multiple. So imagine you have this
minimum
transaction
5 days.
blockchain, right? Transaction blockchain, and the deed is attached to that blockchain, and you have the private key, and so you own that deed. Now, I create a software application on the blockchain that says when address 44264 puts this money in, and this is before before uh, money can't be taken out. It can only go in one way. And when he puts all the money into it, this new key that the software created, because it's an escrow program, when these conditions are met, you get the key instantaneously. And that key gives you the deed, which is ownership, you know? So it's
That's
pretty
amazing.
cool. What?
I, Kayla made a very good point about growing up poor. It's hard to get out of a poor mindset,
Yeah,
and
that
I
wasn't
th-
Krillin.
I
That
think
was Kayla.
I said
Oh,
Kayla.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. So yeah, I mean, you should come on and talk a little bit about that. I know personally, um, any money like transitioning through the stages of my business, any money seems like a lot of money at first,
It
and
still seems like any money seems like a lot of money to me, man.
I'm just like, whoa, like I actually, is this real?
Yeah, dude, like, are you serious? Like, when I started making like $75 a day, like doing like eBay, I was like,
That's
oh my God, it's possible. And
rich.
then when I had my first $1,000 day, I was like, dude, where am I? What is happening right now? Like, what is happening right now? I'm serious. And I mean,
It's
that wasn't even that long
addictive.
ago.
It's addictive. You're like, why would I ever do anything else?
Well, I mean, there's lots of reasons to do other things. It's because you gain more skills and your skill level is like you can use instead of packing orders, you can do much greater things, you know. I mean,
That's,
what's up?
I said that's very true.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a great
Oh,
lifestyle and I really like it, but you know, you go to the next level, you do what I did. You try to acquire more merchandise with a physical location or you try to, you know, go negotiate with somebody to do something or you know, you do other things, but um yeah, I mean, this isn't the best business in the world by any means. We just love doing it. It's just, you know, it's like,
that is added bonus.
yeah, I mean, it's very scalable to a certain extent. Um, so yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up like poor, but we never, I mean, we didn't really, I grew up like lived on a dead end street in the middle of the forest in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, I, we didn't have any fancy things. Like our house wasn't, there was nothing valuable in my house ever. I mean, seriously, if somebody broke into my house to steal something, like they wouldn't find anything worth any money. Like that house. Now, if somebody broke into my house now, probably could. There's a couple valuable things. So,
Good home.
you know. Anyway, hey Kayla,
Hi.
how you doing?
I'm good.
We're
I'm
talking
working.
about cryptocurrencies.
I
Okay,
heard.
like
We're
Join.
going to continue to talk a little bit about cryptocurrencies too.
I want to touch on what we were talking about as far as the growing up poor and kind of the paradigm shift, and when did that happen for you, and when did you notice it? What did it feel like? What did it look like?
Well, it's really, I mean, I grew up super, super fucking poor. Like, my mom we got kicked out of our apartment and we wound up living in like a shitty pay by the hour motel when I was
Holy
like elementary school, like super poor. So I think part of what was good about that, if you can turn something like that into a positive, is that it made me never want to live that way.
Yes.
And that I worked and continue to work extremely hard. So I am never in that position, and I would never put my child in that position. But once I turned 18, I left New Jersey and never went back, basically. Like, got out of there, and because it was just such a toxic, and growing up that way is really stressful on somebody. So I just left and decided that I was going to do whatever I had to work and be in a position where I was never living like that again. And I certainly wasn't working for myself and like making my own wealth in that way, but I was able to find jobs and keep jobs that kept me in a position where I was comfortable. Okay. My ex-husband, his family was extremely wealthy. Like, his dad was the CEO of a company that got bought out by a huge pharmaceutical company, and got bought out for millions and millions and millions of dollars. So it was very weird going into that family where, like, we'd go on trips, like, as a family, like, for weeks out of the year, and like they'd pay for first class tickets. And so it felt like this sort of trashy Cinderella type story where
Well, Cinderella was trashy,
Yeah,
so
I was
it's
gonna
just
say,
a
that is
Cinderella story.
right?
yeah, I was like, should I like clean the floors in order to earn this trip? Or it was really hard to get used to it and be I was always appreciative, but it was hard to show
It's hard to own it because it wasn't yours.
Comfortable in it.
really weird.
You're like,
It's
I
hard
don't
to
need
own it. It's
Like,
definitely hard to own it
doing
when
it
you didn't earn it.
always felt like I was about to be like exposed. Like,
Yeah.
you can't come with us, poor girl. Like, stay home. And of course, his family was amazing and was never like that. But it was nice to see that other side of how things are or can be.
Yeah.
I'll never be that kind of rich, I don't think. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But it did give me a taste of like, oh, there are things in this world that I can work for, that I enjoy and can make happen for myself. So that was really uplifting in a really nice way. It was a real juxtaposition to how I grew up.
And
Yeah.
touching on like where the environment you grew up in, I think that's like primarily what's so toxic is it creates a mindset that this is what is possible. Existing in this state is how it is. This is the status quo.
Yeah,
And
it's the status quo, and you're driven to that status quo because you want to be like everybody else. You want to fit in with the crew, with the tribe. Nobody has real aspirations.
no, and I think that is what's so difficult for people to see beyond the ceiling that they're born into. And it's pretty amazing that ourselves and there's other people out there, obviously lots of almost any reseller, I all of them, but a good chunk of them.
Well, there's something that Nicole and I have talked about a few times. It's something we found to be very common among resellers, And I don't like the word hustle or hustler. It's kind of like a skeezy word to me, but I'm
I
going to
don't like it either.
is that we've all kind of been hustlers from like the get-go. Like I used to go to the corner store. I grew up in the ghetto, and I used to go to the corner store and I'd save all my money and buy a box of lollipops. It would cost me, I don't know, let's say $10, right? And then I would sell them for $1, $2, $3, whatever.
I did that same thing.
I'm
See, I
telling
never did
you,
that. I'm not as enterprising as you guys.
I did that at 8 years old, probably.
I
I
guess I did kind of do that, but in a different way, I guess.
Well,
I
that's
did it
the
in a much
thing. It's like we've all. I feel like there's something in us that, even though mine went dormant for a really long time, and I never thought I'd be in a business like this, like it came back out, and I was like, oh yeah, and it is that hustler mentality, and it's the same thing. I was just doing it with 8-year-old kids in the playground, like, oh, you want a lollipop? Well, that's $2, and they pay it because there was nowhere else to get one.
That's hilarious. See, I was never a schoolyard hustler. I used to go around the neighborhood and ask people if they had any junk they didn't want, and I would have garage sales, and like I would go put signs up for garage sales, and I started having garage sales when I was like 8, 9 years old.
Dude, that's boss.
It's the same mentality. Is
Yeah,
seeing a
so I mean,
gap
it
and
wasn't
filling
that
it.
I don't even know why I did it because like honestly, like my family was not we didn't my dad is like a not a like a non-materialist, and the Cajun culture is like a non-materialist culture just in general, and he comes from like a very strong non-materialist family background, so it's not even just about that. It's like we just didn't have things like other people had things, you know what I'm saying? Like and my dad worked a lot when we were really young, and he got better off as we got older, but then my parents got divorced, and then things got pretty bad. But I was already out of our house. You know, after I left at 18, there was like, I mean that like people get financial support after that. I never really did. Um, my dad did help me out a couple of times in the last couple of years, which is really cool. But I didn't know about money. I didn't know how to save. Saving money isn't going to do anything. If any, like saving money doesn't matter. You need to be able to produce cash flow if you want to be wealthy. So anybody who's telling you like things about saving money early on, if you're just saving money, you're just beating inflation. You're not even like, you need to be investing in things that you can figure out how to calculate risk with, and that sort of thing. But if anybody, like no one in high school or college ever told me how money worked, how credit worked, how business worked, and I even took like some business courses, and they didn't say shit about the reality of like cash flowing a business successfully or any of that kind of stuff. So I think that there's just it's not it's not advantageous to do that, so it's just not part of the curriculum.
I learned a lot of that when I went to vocational school when I was a junior. Um, I spent half of my day in vocational classes. I took a bus to a different school, like 4 towns away. And I took computer classes, and we also had applied mathematics and
That's
business.
cool.
And so applied mathematics was all the math that you never learned in regular high school. Well, at least I didn't, which was balancing checkbooks and saving money, opening bank accounts, paying taxes, all those things. Now it was on a high school level, but it was way more than we were ever taught in our regular day-to-day school. And I feel like it was very helpful, at least to get to a beginner standpoint.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good perspective. The I yeah, I'm like dedicated to helping educate people about like how things really how things really work from my perspective. It's all my perspective. I don't give financial advice or anything like that, but part of this whole journey is like informing myself, and then through that process of informing myself, informing others who want to learn, uh, and can also teach me as well. So all of this is part of a bigger journey, probably for everybody who's here. Um, let's see, what do we got going on in the chat? Oh, we have Mal saying that I'm right. So whenever Mal wants to talk, she can. She said I'm right.
Well, she said also that she was afraid to come back after the chicken debacle. So you're not scot-free just yet.
What happened? Oh, she's talking about how we got kicked off the air because of the chicken scene.
I think just
That
the
was
chicken
lame.
debacle.
We had a really good show going too. I thought it was a really festive. Thought it was a really festive event. Um, oh my God, we have Krillin in the house.
Chris, what's up,
The
man?
world has
No
ended.
video.
Krillin,
He works out. See that from the pic.
is that Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Now
Jean-Claude,
he's muted his mic now also.
that was Jean-Claude Van Krillin. Yeah, he's muted.
Damn.
Gotta unmute your mic, Krillin. It's at the top. No one will be able to hear you unless you mute your mic.
Is he typing in the group chat?
Skrillin's raw dog.
Scrolling.
Krillin, he's muted. He doesn't know it. Krillin, unmute yourself. I can't unmute him. Can I unmute him?
Probably not. No. Oh, he's gone.
Kicked himself out. Well, we'll give it a shot.
It was
We'll
so
get him out.
close. So close
We'll
yet
get him.
so far.
We'll get him out of the. We'll get him out of the internet. We'll draw him out of the internet ethers here at some point. He's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And exactly, Treasure Hustlers, you're right. Like Krillin is like the secret of the reselling space, because anytime I watch a video, he's like there, but no one ever sees him. So it'd be great to have him as part of the deal. But so I think for all three of us, like education about the subjects that we needed, like real information about, not fluff, not bullshit, like a mixture of experience and education, has definitely got us to the point where, I mean, I'm not espousing to be some like big business guy or some kind of, anything like that. I'm just like a normal guy who felt that using social media could really help me, and I could help others too. So, you know, um, it's just weird. The business dynamic is so different. So being able to connect with people and share information and education, and then all of a sudden, at the same time, we have people who are resistant to that, and they spam me, they spam other people. They're like, "Oh, you're doing this, and you're doing that, and you're doing this." And we have this like weird information troll society in reselling where they think that things are secrets. There's no secrets anymore. Okay, like you can just go on eBay and look just as if somebody told you. It's not that difficult. What's difficult is risking your money, not spending it on booze and drugs and whatever, and cars, and managing your finances is hard. Managing your bankroll is hard. Providing great customer service is hard. Hiding your ego so that you can move on to the next business decision is hard for a lot of people, you know? So, um, these are the things that are hard. Right, Jacob?
Yes.
It's, oh my God.
He.
Living krill.
We have a living Krillin?
This is like unprecedented.
Krillin, what's up, buddy? It's good to meet you, man. Welcome to the show.
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Chillin'. Ah, we can
Yeah.
see you. We can see you.
I got
Not a robot.
I got my Cornholio hoodie on because I need TP for my bunghole.
I don't have a hoodie. I feel very head naked.
I know. I feel like I'm in a dream right now, Krillin. Did I like eat too much? Did I eat too many cannabis cookies? And am I like in a daze right now?
I think we summoned him somehow.
I know we summoned Krillin from the deep. What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. Ugats. Nothing.
I don't know
I'm
what that
just
means.
trying.
What does that mean?
Yeah, just nothing. I don't know. I don't know. You can't curse on your videos, right? I don't know how YouTube works.
Absolutely, dude. There's so much
Oh,
profanity on it. We have Kayla
oh,
here.
oh, yeah. Yeah, it means it means I'm doing dick.
It's good. So are you in Jersey?
No, Long Island.
That's
Long
a
Island. Cool.
Long Island.
Is it cold over
Yeah,
there now?
yeah. I'm freezing my ass off here. That's why I got this hoodie on. It's cold.
Yeah.
What's so funny? I don't know what you guys think is so funny over there.
We
I don't.
we're just very excited to meet you, Krillin. Actually,
West Coast.
we
Yeah,
just
I do my
we're
listings late at night, so I watch, of course, late at night. You know, when you're doing your listings, because if you do it with nothing on, then you fall asleep. You
yeah.
know, and that's it. Forget about it.
Well, it's also good to have like, you're listening, you might hear a tip, there might be something you're stuck on, and like kind of be like the chat room. If you can get distracted for a second and then keep rolling instead of being distracted by other kinds of crazy stuff, because we're all focused on doing the same thing. I mean, we're all resellers, right? So,
Mhm.
how many? Just out of curiosity, like is eBay your main platform to sell on?
Yeah.
And are you a full-time reseller?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
What do you
this what
mean?
I went to school. I used to own a business. I lost a ton of money. I used to own a restaurant,
Oh God.
and yeah, I lost like $250,000. You know, the economy took a dump in 2008, and then I went back to school. I got a degree in accounting, and then I realized before, like I know, I realized towards the end it got really hard, and I said I don't want to do this. But by the time I got so far, you get to be, you get to like 90% the way there, and the way college works, if you get 90% the way there and you don't finish, it's like 0%.
It is
Sure.
0%. Yeah, there's no like proof of stake there. It's like
Yeah.
you're
So I,
if you don't finish, you don't get it.
yeah, so I figured, you know what? Any degree I would get, I says, an accounting degree is a good degree to have. You know, it's looked upon, decently. Because it's not easy to get. So
No.
Versatile as far as what you can do with it.
Yeah, it's really versatile what
exactly.
you can do. You can actually get jobs, but that's all gonna be disrupted by computing here very shortly.
Yeah, and it's already, I'm talking to a couple of guys already. Stuff is being outsourced, accounting work to China, India. You know, and it's not for guys like us. We're guys that watch stuff on the computer late at night, and Chinese guys, these guys, I'm not trying, I don't like to pinpoint people, like stereotype people, but a lot of guys I was in school with, like Chinese guys, they just focus on one thing. They don't think about it. It's I'll tell you a quick funny story. You know how we talk about, like, political. Don't worry, I'm not going to get political, but I'm just talking about political correctness. Like you say, how people say, oh well, they're Asian Americans. You're not supposed to say where they're actually from or whatnot. You know what I'm talking about, right? You guys do that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
if you're
don't-
not, I mean, well, so nationality and like some other idea. So like if I was born in the United States, but my parents were Chinese, I'm not Chinese. I'm a
Well, you're
a
American.
citizen of the United States.
No, but some people here they just call blanketly, like, anybody who's got slanted eyes. They call them Asian, which is, to me, that's ignorant. But that's what's done politically correct wise. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, sure.
Anyway, oh, I'm not crazy over here. So, like, like the Chinese students, they have no idea about political correctness. They because their mind is only focused just on that A plus. That
Yeah.
anything that the politics, CNN, internet, nothing. They have no idea what's even going on with any of that. And that, you know what
Oh
I'm
yeah, I had some. I was in a biology program here, and we had some students from both China and India, and we got one of the Chinese dudes to party, but dude, they were afraid of information in a certain way
Yeah. You're
because they're
on the
taught
money
to be afraid of
100%.
information.
They get scared talking to you. They're like, "Oh, the world is scary out there."
Well,
You know.
they come from a political
Yeah.
atmosphere where if you think differently and if you speak outside of the norms, like you end up in a prison labor camp. You
Yeah, and
know,
it's
I
funny.
mean,
It's funny you talk about. I had a professor because I had gone back to school as an adult. I had gone years ago, and I had a professor who was a business. You had to take business classes and whatnot. And the guy is talking to me because I was telling him, I said, "Yeah, I'm selling." This is when I was part time selling on eBay. He's like, "Don't do business on Alibaba." He's like, "Anything that's from China is fake on Alibaba." He's like, "Don't." Yeah,
yeah,
and this is a guy who was from Beijing. He's like, "Look, I'm trying to show him the website. I hear because people on YouTube are talking about, oh, you can buy stuff in bulk really cheap and flip it on this site and that site." He's like, "Look, you see this?" And he's showing me this stuff in Chinese. He's like, "You see these signs? See this?" He's like, "Don't go near this." He's like, "Any merchandise that's quality merchandise is not leaving the country." He's like, "They're not gonna even allow it to be sent out." Like you were talking about with the government. He's like, "They're only gonna send out the shit."
oh yeah,
That's it.
unless you can hold them accountable for quality, you are going to get garbage.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "It's so hard." He's like, you're not getting quality." He's like, especially for us resellers, we're not some big company. We're just a couple of guys sitting here in our underwear.
Yes. What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. What, are you going to fly over there and like bring the rubber snakes back? Like, you're not. Anyway, so yeah, man,
All
awesome.
right, so how do I get out? So, all right, I don't even know how to get out of this thing.
Oh, don't
Krillin,
worry about it. Just stick
tell us
around.
a little bit about the things
What do
you
you want
like.
to know?
I want to know what things that you're hunting down and what you like to
I
sell.
forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, man. I forgot what's your name again.
Jake.
Oh, Jake the Snake. How you doing, Jake?
Hey, that's right.
You could call me by my real name. My name is Rob.
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 Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
everybody you can call Krillin Rob from now on.
He has a name. His name is Rob.
His
In the
name
flesh.
is Rob Krillin.
His name is Rob Krillin.
Yeah. So what do you want to know? I sell stuff. So what you want to ask me something about reselling?
Yeah. What's the kind of stuff that you find in your area, and what do you
What do I
what do you
sell? I sell clothing. I have I'm that guy. Just like 90% everybody has stuff in their room. Like I don't know if I could even if this works. Like I sell can you see this? I don't
Yeah.
even know if this is
Hawaiian
working.
shirts. Hold on, I'll
You know,
focus on you so we can
this
see.
is
Hold on.
I don't know if this is coming in.
Oh,
Robert
that's a
Graham, can you see?
Robert Graham.
Yeah, like this stuff here, I sell mainly what I look like my go-to items that I look to sell is like men's suits.
Yeah,
Sell like I don't know, is this coming in?
Yeah.
yeah, that looks
Absolutely.
like Al Pacino over there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, this is hold on one second here. Like this is what I look to sell like I don't know if you could see that. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, yeah, we
It's
love that thing. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Damn.
I can
Hermenegildo
never
Zegna.
find. I can never find Xenia shit here. It's Xenia, right? That's how you pronounce
Yeah,
it.
it's Hermenegildo Zegna.
Emelagildo Xenia.
Hermeneg- So I look
Germa,
for
Germa, 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 Irma, Gerd. Xenia.
Hermenegildo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Robert Graham, uh, Xenia. What
What
else I got here?
percentage of your inventory is clothing, Krillin?
Like 95%.
Okay, cool. Yeah, mine's like
I have.
30 probably.
Yeah, I know. But that's another reason why I watch some of the stuff here. What's cool is that like I got shit all over my room and all over my place, and I don't feel judged. It's like it's a safe place, because everybody has, you know what I mean. Everybody has shit everywhere. It's like I'm not the only person that Oh my God, you have boxes stocked on top of boxes.
We're not giving you permission. We need you to be organized and get your stuff out to your customers on time, Krillin.
I
I
know
mean
that's
Rob.
And then I have my main room. I don't know if you could see this here. I don't even know if this is coming through.
Yeah.
Holy
My
shit,
this
dude.
pile
Dude,
higher, you know.
Dude, that is a
I got,
giant pile of crap.
Well, they're on.
you know,
Most of it's on racks.
No, the other
yeah,
pile, the
I probably
non-rack
got about,
pile.
I probably got about 10 racks in. Is this like blasting somebody?
Yeah, it's up a little bit high.
Hold it.
You need to tilt
It
your
looks
phone
like Jesus.
down.
I don't know.
Jesus is coming out of your roof.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I know.
is that
I'm
your?
sorry. So what else are you asking me, Jake?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to see your operation, what you had going on. It looks good. How many things do you have active?
I got about 350. See, and the problem is too is that I like to take photography outside. I think pictures come out good outside, and I don't have. But the problem is now is that it's it's 30 degrees, 20 degrees out, so you can't take pictures outside.
You
So
can get a light set up on Amazon, like a 3-light softbox setup for like less than $100.
yeah, I know, but I had this kid. I had this black kid who lives across the street from me. He was helping me out, and what happened was he got a regular job. So he worked out all right. I mean, the guy was a little stunad, but he was all right. My only thing was don't smoke reefer near the merchandise. That was like my only thing. You know what I mean?
That's a bare minimum requirement.
I'm gonna say that's bare bones.
That's very hard.
Damn.
And
You know what?
I
Don't spill food on the merch, and don't smoke
use
weed around it.
Yeah, don't use Robert Graham's shirt as a bubble hash bag.
yeah. No, but like you guys, I don't know how you get people to do a whole listing for $2, $3, the entire listing.
I pay
Oh my,
$1, not for the photos,
$1? No,
not
yeah.
photos.
Well, I was giving this kid $2. Yeah,
There's just this
sorry.
place in my office where you can come and sit down and work. So come in, they sit down, they work, and
I
then
think
when
you
they're
talking about
done, I check them very quickly and make sure that it's basically okay, and then I pay them for their listings. I mean,
yeah.
it's very simple. It's very easy that way too. It's like before I would just let people take stuff to their houses. My average buy price is $7, so it's like, I mean, if you steal from me once, that's going to be the last time you steal from me.
No, this kid. That's the one thing too is that he never even. And look, when you're sending somebody a lot of merchandise, you're gonna assume one or two things are gonna get misplaced. I mean, that's understandable. But he never lost anything.
It's good.
Oh.
The problem was he could. The problem is also, he couldn't follow directions sometimes. Like, and I'm sure you deal with this. Like, you're like,
Absolutely.
you want to get certain merchandise sent out first, and then it's like, then he's like, well, I did the other ones. I says, listen, do what I tell you. Do these first, blah 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 to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Don't
like,
get creative.
Yeah, exactly.
Your
And then
management,
he
we
was,
need to work on Rob's management skills.
yeah. You know what? I don't know. But I'm looking for another person. And I got news for you. You know what? I went to the college near my house, right? The local community college. And I figured I'd speak to some of the old professors, speak to some people, whatever, about trying to find somebody, like a intern or something, whatever it is. I couldn't find nobody.
Well,
They
millennials
didn't even
don't
want.
want to work, so
No,
that's
no, no,
pretty
no, no.
hard.
It's not the millennials. It was the professors, and it was the
Okay.
oldest people working there. And I went in there. They treated me as a person of no consequence, and they gave me the cold shoulder.
Mm.
So, what? I was so upset. I was like, I'm looking for. Then they were like, oh yeah, give us. You know what? What is he? What do you say? Oh, write down your email. Yeah, write down your email. What do you think? I'm born at night, not last night. Like that means, you know what I'm saying? Like when somebody says to you, oh, send me an email. I hate that. It
Yeah,
says, look,
that
I'll
means
call you.
never, ever, never hear from you again. That's what that means.
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly. But and there's many creative. So one of my main listers now just came from Craigslist, and then the other two were like previous associates that had been friends on Facebook. But I can't even tell you the last time I logged into Facebook. I think
I
Facebook
know.
is so ridiculously stupid. But it also found like two really great people to help me. I also stole Jacob, um, one of Jacob's kind of helpers.
But now but your Craigslist people, you don't you get these none of these people you give them merch from Craigslist. These are
I
people
did, yes. No,
oh, you
no, but
did.
this absolutely. So I put out a very weird ad to get weird people, and then I did
Yeah.
interviews, and like 5 of them, I was like, I wouldn't even give you a nickel, much less any of my merchandise. And then one of them was like awesome, and she's been here ever since. But
Yeah.
like one of my basic tenets is like you have to have sold something on the internet before that's legal. Like
Silk Road doesn't
I
count.
exactly Silk
No
Road does
organs.
not count.
You tell
Well,
Jake about Silk Road.
I was
You
doing
tell
$500,000 a year of LSD on the Silk Road, and
no.
that's
You tell
what
Jake.
you need to
No,
do.
Jake was asking. Right, Jake was asking about the crypto. So the Silk Road. That's what. And you know what it is. That's what screwed them up. Was people thought that. I think this is going to be a downfall of Bitcoin. There's a lot of people think that it's not traceable, but it's very traceable because of the blockchain. So that's how
It's
I think that's how
only
the
traceable if you've used the banking system to acquire Bitcoin. Then it's traceable.
uh-huh,
If you're a miner and you mine it or you
uh-huh.
buy it in
Oh,
cash
it's like
from
I see.
somebody,
Yeah, I
it's
see.
not traceable.
But
So
which is not as easy. It's a
no,
lot harder. Yes.
it's not as easy now, but it will be in the future. So
Yeah.
there's a huge demand for money, and
Mhm.
the demand for money that is incorruptible will continue to grow because it just wasn't available before. This
Uh-huh.
is a new paradigm and it's a completely new concept,
Yeah.
and it requires oversight and responsibility, and those are two things that is difficult for the average person to have. If the
Uh-huh.
average person had insight and basically basic accountability, a lot of the problems in the world would disappear.
Adios.
Exactly. So we need to build these types of things into the paradigm of our existence. I'm not saying this is going to stick. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to tell you that it, it's not something that you shouldn't. It's something that you should understand, at least, at
Sure,
the
sure.
very minimum.
But now this is blowing up down in Argentina. It is blowing up, right? Or
It's
not
been
really?
blown up in Argentina forever, dude. I was doing some kind of Bitcoin trading there in like 2013,
Uh-huh.
and it's been in demand there for a long time. They
Really?
did it so in Argentina. They did this thing. It's called a corralito. They call it a corralito, a little
Mhm.
corral, and they basically said you can't trade Argentine currency for other currencies if you're Argentine. So you're just
Yeah.
stuck with the currency.
That's what I was heard. That's why I said it was funny. I heard that something they were trying to make it hard for you to trade in gold and silver, and I said it was ironic considering the name of Argentina is called
Oh
the land of silver.
yeah,
That's the
there's
name of the
tons of.
country.
They say Argentina has only about 8% of their silver and gold mines have been their silver and gold
Exploited.
reserves have been mined. Yeah. There's just a
Yeah.
ton of surface gold in Argentina, but the landscapes are impossible. There's no roads, there's no infrastructure, there's no way to get it out of the ground.
Really. There's
Oh
no
god,
way. Yeah.
Argentina has a harsh countryside in the center of the
But yeah,
country.
what part? Where now? Where's your wife's family is from there or some?
Yeah, yeah.
In what part? Where are they from?
The province of Buenos Aires. I think like 40% of the population lives in the province of
Yeah,
Buenos
that's the
Aires.
north. Yeah, that's the north
It's about
part.
the size of Texas, maybe, I guess. Maybe a
Uh
little bit
huh.
smaller. It's about maybe half the size of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to drive across Texas?
You're not asking me.
No, I don't know, like 7 hours.
Ask Jake.
Yeah, it's probably about the size of Texas.
Uh huh.
How, I mean, we've driven through, let's see, from Austin to Houston to Louisiana, and that took 6 hours. So
So
probably times two.
now, Jake, what town do you live? Where do you live?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh, but you live in city limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
takes
you
12 hours, by the way. I just
Oh,
checked.
I
Yeah.
double that.
about me.
That's from El Paso to Shreveport, Louisiana, which is like the closest big cities, but that's like real close to the border.
Interesting.
So there you go. Thank you,
Well,
Internet.
Houston to Oklahoma border is 9 hours. Okay, yeah.
Now,
Makes
Corey,
sense.
you live in the city limits too, or no?
Yeah, I live in the city limits of Portland. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
You know,
wouldn't.
because I tell people I live in New York, but like I live probably about 15 minutes from the city limits, 15 minutes east of New York, um, east of Queens, New York, where,
I mean,
if
there's
you
like
never
a
heard of,
ferry, right? Staten Island ferry. Is there
no,
like?
that's on the other side. That's from New Jersey. Well, yeah, it's the other side.
Okay, gotcha.
But and from Manhattan, it takes me with no traffic, with about 45 minutes.
Oh,
With
that's fun.
traffic, 45 minutes. You think that's for?
Yeah,
Really? With traffic, it's about 2 hours.
cool.
So
You know,
in Portland, if it takes 15 minutes to get somewhere, no one's going there.
Exactly. Like if it's
People in Portland are just
it pisses me off when it takes me 17 minutes to get to my office instead of 15.
so you can go for it's the city is not that big, right? I mean, there's how many people live in Portland?
No, I mean, you live in a metropolis and like this is the opposite of that. This is an anti-ropolis.
Is it like 500,000 people live there or something like that?
600,000 in the city limits, but we don't even know because the population has grown so fast. But we got
Uh-huh.
about what, like 1.8 million in the metro area.
Metro area.
So
Yeah, like
it's
my county, we got about that. Yeah, I live in Nassau County. Uh, right, like I said, just outside.
what's the main? So like, is there a main bridge to Staten Island, or is there multiple main bridges?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a couple of bridges to Staten Island. From the Verrazano Bridge that goes from um Brooklyn, like Saturday Night Fever, where that
Yeah,
is Bay Ridge, Brooklyn
yeah.
to Staten Island, and then on the other side there's then that goes to New Jersey from Staten Island. But Staten Island is small. Staten Island is not even 1 million people. It's like I think it's like 600,000. It's a small place. It's not. I mean, like Brooklyn. See, Brooklyn used to be its own city, and Brooklyn itself has like 2 million people just in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's
So,
very densely built up and
ugh,
populated.
that's why like I live in Long Island. I don't. I like kind of like where I live because like if I want to go, like I go to a lot of concerts. I go to the city. Okay, so if I want to go see, like a couple weeks ago I went to see Morrissey. And oh, by the way, tons of concerts go to Portland. I can't believe I'm looking at the thing. There's like so many good concerts. So many bands go to Portland. I was
Amazing
surprised.
venues here, dude. The
Oh,
Crystal Ballroom, amazing. The Roseland.
so many places. Morrissey, he went there. I went to see the Breeders. I mean, how old are you,
I'm
Corey?
37.
Okay, so we're the same age. So you remember a lot of the bands from the '90s. Jake, how old are you?
28.
Oh, so you're a young guy. So compared to.
I bought a Gin Blossoms CD today at Goodwill. It was pretty jamming. I lost myself on
Damn.
Henderson Road. I didn't know how I was lost at the time.
I haven't
But it
heard
was
that
only
song.
$1.99. So
Yeah, it was $1.
yeah, 50% off.
Yeah, it was a
Now
dollar.
you guys have Goodwill. You have so now you go to Goodwill bins or no?
That's kind of where I originated building up my business inventory
Kind of
was
me
Uh-huh.
too.
the Goodwill bins for 2-3 years. It was 90% of where I sourced.
I'll tell you, Goodwill bins. I'll go to the Goodwill bins in the wintertime when there's no garage sales and if there's no estate sales. Probably 80% of the merchandise I buy is from estate sales.
Yeah, I would say
Because
that both of us. I'm the same way. At least 80% of what I
yeah,
buy comes from estate sales. At least.
I'm like 90-95% estate sales now.
yeah, it's because so many people on YouTube they still so stuck on the thrift stores. I try to explain, but I hate to sound like, oh, I know, because guess what? I'm living with my parents. I'm on the balls of my ass. Like, oh, I'm so smart. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? But I only say it because I try to help people out because other people have helped. Like, different people have helped me out a lot. So I try to help other people out. I try to, say, look, if I can give somebody advice, I'll give them advice for, somebody from here, if somebody from the chat that's typing in and says, "Oh, how do I do blah blah blah?" I'll tell them I don't care because I'll take an hour of my time because you know this other people. Pete the Craigslist hunter. This guy's helped me 100 times.
I love
I've
that guy.
texted him 1,000 times. You know what I mean?
I love
So
Pete.
I'll help.
Pete's the best.
You know how many times I'm at the estates because see, I don't buy electronics. I don't know much about electronics, but
Oh,
sometimes when you try to go off into well, you take look. Sometimes what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. But what
sure.
I'll do is I'll take a picture of it with my phone. I'll send it to Pete, and I'll just say, and because the guy's a busy guy, I don't want to be talking with him all because he's running businesses and stuff. I just say, is it worth anything or it's not worth anything? And literally, he'll text me back in 30 seconds and say, it's worth $75 if you have no manual, no remote. It's worth 100 if you have the remote, and
Right.
125 if you have the box. Done. You know what I mean?
That's pretty in depth.
Because No, because he knows the guy. If you watch his videos, he knows about electronics, and there's a lot of money. A lot of times, it's good. You get the electronics, you go to the flea market, you go wherever it is, and you know what? These people bring this stuff out there, and guess what? They don't want to bring it back in the house. You
Nope.
know what I mean? They don't. When they bring out that 500 disc CD changer out of their garage, guess what? When it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's $5 because guess what? They're not lugging it back into their garage.
Yep. And I don't
That's
want it
the
either. You
power
don't
of
have
the
to
bargain
pay
and the
me to
leverage.
take that thing.
No, they sell for like over $100, bro.
I know I have 3 of them in my garage in my basement right now.
I'm telling you, they sell them. If you have the remote, especially if they're the good
3 of them. They're not for sale
Megan.
yet. I have to move them to the new shop, but I had some stuff that just needed to be tested. Like, see, here we only have garage sales in the summer, so you can
Well,
just and
obviously we don't have.
I'll show you maps. I took some
Yeah.
screenshots of some maps. There was a day that there was 1,280. Do you
Oof.
remember that, Jake, this year? Like, you would go on like G Sailor, and the whole thing would just be like a red dot. I mean, the whole city was just lit up. You can't go a block without finding another garage sale because, like, this year, all the garage sales were like in 3 weeks because we had terrible weather. Like, we didn't have like it was like we had it was rainy till late. The weather was rainy in the summer sometimes, which is really weird here.
And then it was
And
excruciatingly hot.
it was so hot.
Oh hot.
Really?
Oh my god.
Like record highs, 110. It got up to
Yeah.
110.
110.
Yeah.
One.
We were in the
Oh, I
Now,
think
didn't
yeah.
you have fires in Didn't you guys have fires in Oregon?
We
Yeah,
have
we did.
fires every year, but this year was a really emotional
It was
fire
like
because it
the whole
burned up
West
one
Coast.
of a series of the most like loved tourist kind of attractions. But forests burn.
Well, yeah, but I know. Oh yeah, I mean, so I was gonna say you studied originally botany. That was your original,
Correct.
you know. So yeah, I told you every time I put a joke in one of the chats. I don't know you see. There was a video. Remember from the '90s, Plant Man.
No.
You don't know that song? Plant Man knows where the plants will grow. Plant Man knows, and he's playing the drums. You never seen this video?
No.
And
No.
he's you got to look it up. And he's playing the drums and his seat. That's why I said it should be a theme song because the seat that he's playing the drums on is a huge mushroom. You never seen this video?
No.
I wish
I'll
I
watch
don't
it
know how to
later.
I don't know
We
how to do
can't.
any.
Play
We
videos.
can't. We can't
Oh,
screen
you
share
can't.
because if it's trademarked or copyrighted, then they'll
Oh,
pull this. So
but
I
yeah,
don't
but
want
that's another thing too. I have no idea how that works, and people think I'm like playing stupid, and I'm like embarrassed because it took me 20 minutes to figure out. I went downstairs because I remember I was still logged in from from somewhere else. I don't know because I don't have a camera on the desktop computer.
to. Yeah.
I don't know.
I was totally
So I
gonna
just
mail you one so you could just plug it in.
no, I
Go
got
to
the
the
cheapest
Goodwill bins
computer.
and find one. There'll definitely be one there.
Yeah, but it's just another time suck. Well, I mean, for you, but you know what you're doing, and you're trying to build a channel which is good, late night channel, which is a great idea because there's not too many resellers on late at night.
I'm not in a competitive mode at all. This is to build a think tank and to grow.
No, I don't mean for ad revenue. I'm talking
Yeah,
about just to build in a sense where a community build up.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Because obviously, if you're thinking about ad money, you make more money doing the listings you got in the debt file. That would make you more money.
Exactly, way more money.
Yeah,
But
so they're doing it.
it's not passive income though. Like once the videos are up and you have thousands of videos, you can make
Uh-huh.
a couple $1,000s a month doing nothing. But you have to keep creating content for people to be interested in consuming your previous content, most likely. But kind of like you, like I was in the shadows, like I was reselling for a long time without any sort of connections, kind of
Mhm.
like poking into chats or whatever. And then and I thought to myself, like, I can bring some value to the space, maybe, or maybe not, and whatever. I'm just gonna do what I want and have fun doing it. So fuck it.
But let me ask you a question: Is that uh, I know a lot of people talk about what kind of money they're making. I know you're open; other people are open. They talk about the money they make on eBay. But no, but is there something against YouTube rules? They don't talk about the money they make from YouTube, which I thought is very interesting because a
I
lot of
just
people
think
says,
that
"Oh, I did seven
yeah.
thousand."
So it's like I don't think people talk about YouTube money because it's not all YouTube money. So there's affiliates, and Kayla can maybe talk about it a little. She kind of knows a little bit more. So can you talk for a second about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk. What's the matter?
Um,
Cat got
so
your tongue?
first of all, I have to say, I'm from New Jersey. I was born and raised in New Jersey. So when I hear you talk, I, I'm, I'm gonna slip back into the accent. So I have to really try hard to not, because I used to have a very strong Jersey accent. So,
Yeah.
um, I think a lot of people don't talk about it because they, I'm trying to think of a way to put this that makes sense and isn't rude, but I think that a lot of people use YouTube as a way to truly connect with fans and friends and other people in the community. And when you talk about the money aspect of it, it kind of takes you out of that, like, this is a safe, friendly space where we're buddies and we're hanging out. And when you say, like, I'm making X amount of money, it makes it sound like, this is just for money. I'm just here to take money from you. You're just my ad revenue watchers. And so I think that's part of the reason. And the other part is, I agree that there is other parts to making money on here with affiliate links and, super chats with people donating money. That to say what you make encompasses a lot of different parts. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's
but
easy to just say I make X through YouTube. And it's a constantly fluctuating thing because you're making money on old videos, you're making money on new videos. You can decide how much you make by how many ads you put in, whether the person
oh
watching
yeah.
these things has YouTube Red and they're subscribed, or whether they're clicking
Uh,
on links. Like, there's so many different ways to make money that I think it's hard to say. It doesn't work exactly like eBay where you log into the account and it says, this is how much you've made today, period.
yeah.
It's kind of this like fluctuating thing.
Uh-huh.
But I think
Yeah.
people,
Sorry.
I think it's a little tacky for some people to talk about it, and that's why they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really talk about sales numbers. I mean, if somebody asks me a question, I'm transparent in certain ways, but obviously there's certain things about my business that are proprietary, and I keep those things to myself. There's certain things that I decide to share, and there's certain things I don't. Um, but yeah, I mean, I can see why somebody wouldn't want to kind of make that public in that way. So,
Yeah, no, that's my point. I wouldn't tell I would never ask somebody what their sales were. You know what I'm saying? I think that's disrespectful in a way. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Oh yeah.
to
I
me,
mean,
I
it's
would
like
never
asking
because
somebody what their religion is to some people, you know?
if there wasn't a lady here, I would say it would be like asking them something else, you know.
Well,
Lady,
But
where is she?
you know, like it's a personal question. You know what I mean? I wouldn't ask
it's like
somebody.
asking your bra size or something.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think that
because it's like, yeah.
it's
I
Oh,
think
I'm
it's a
sorry.
very terse question. You should never ask anybody that.
I
You're
think
right.
because we're always so open in this community and we're always
Uh-huh.
talking about numbers that it feels like nothing is off limits. So it's very common to hear people say, I want to know how much you made. I want to know what you spent. I want to know what your fees were. I want to know if you took a sip of water during that time, how much your glass cost that you were drinking out of. Like, they feel like they're entitled to that information because if you don't give it, then you're not being transparent.
But that's not transparent.
I don't know. I think it's bullshit. But that's how people feel. Unless you are telling people to the penny, this is what my shipping cost was, this is how much I paid for poly mailers, that you're not being transparent and therefore you're a liar.
I tell
That's
them to
what
hit
I
the
hear.
brakes. You know
I
what?
hear that
Because
all the time.
Yeah.
like
I told somebody to hit the brakes the other day, so don't worry about
I
it.
see people, like even on Pete's channel, all the time, and somebody like Pete who gives away a lot of free knowledge how to make money. It's a blessing that there's somebody, if they're getting paid, they're not getting paid, whatever it is, to give away the amount of knowledge that some people from YouTube give away for literally free. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to watch a commercial for 5 seconds? I mean, if you're complaining, like people complain about having to watch a commercial, I said, are you kidding me? You know, I mean, you don't want to watch, 10-second commercial? I mean, if someone's giving you free information, I mean, that's just my
That's what I
opinion.
think about the free information. If the information is free, nobody's forcing you to sit down and watch anybody's
Exactly.
videos. And
Yeah.
so why do you need to know to the penny what people, they're like, well, what's your overhead on this? Like, well, you didn't really make X because you didn't count in the cost of your, ink on your printer
The
that put the
gasoline.
label.
I
And it's
mean,
like, Jesus Christ, like if
dude,
you can't calculate that in your head to
Yeah.
a point and say like, okay, I bought this item for $1. I sold it for $100. Do we really need to go over what my PayPal fees were? You know what those are if you're a reseller already. You know that I didn't make $99. Like, you know
Yeah.
that, yes, there's fees and there's shipping and blah, 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 blah. So you can get a roundabout estimate what somebody made on something. If you
Of
need me to
course.
say to the penny, I made $71.13, like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I agree. They should, and like I said, it's at a certain point, you're disrespecting somebody. I
yeah,
want to know.
yeah. No, I haven't been exposed to much of that because I haven't been out in the space for that long. But so like, I posted like a pair of. You're not on Instagram, right?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Talking to me? No,
you talking to
I'm not
me
on. I'm not on nothing.
over here. I'm not on Instagram over here.
I'm not on nothing.
You should get on Instagram like tomorrow, yesterday.
I can't even get my suits listed. I got behind me. You know, I got. Look, you want? I got 10 Xenia suits. I got to get listed, and it's still.
Damn. Anyway, so I posted a picture of these shoes and it with the price that they sold for, and like it didn't meet the criteria of this guy. So he was like, these don't sell for this price. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's like,
He's
what are you
like, what did
talking
they
about?
actually sell for? That's how much they
Actually,
listed them for. How much did they sell for? And you're like, that's how much they sold for. And he's
I
like,
Oh,
listed
the
him for
floor shine shoes.
$79.99. I listed him for $79.99. Somebody
Oh,
offered me $74.99. I accepted it,
of
and
course.
I posted the picture of the shoes because I thought they were peculiar and like the style code was a little bit weird, but they
All
were
right.
original. Like we're in Portland, we have a lot of Nike stuff, so they were pretty rad. And I sold them too cheap. It was more of an alert. It was hilarious because I really did like these are $150 shoes, and this was a style code that you can't get. So I should have sold them for more than that.
And they were
Well, I
Nike
mean,
shoes.
what's up?
Dude,
Nike Mercurial
from how
Vapors or
long?
whatever. Like
Like 5 years ago, 2 years ago.
I think they're from 2 years ago.
Okay.
New, without
New in the
tags,
box.
no box, but new. Like still had the stuffing on the inside of them.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
un,
So
uh,
what was the guy beefing about?
so he was like, "You didn't sell these for $74. These the MSRP or something. I deleted the whole thing, but are $69.99, and they sell for $64.99 all day." And I said, basically, you talking to me? I was like, "Are you addressing me?
Yeah.
Like, this is like my information feed. Are you addressing me?" And he was like, show me the sale and the other part. And I said, you know what? This is my information feed, and you show me that you can purchase this pair of shoes in this style code for
Yeah.
$64.99 right now. That is your claim. Make your claim. So then he started saying all kinds of stupid
Oh,
crap, and I kept saying, prove your claim. And then he went through some of my other listings. And
oh,
sometimes what I do is I'll take a listing and post it for information. So, like for example, there's like a head wrap that's like $800 on my Instagram. It's
wow.
like this stupid piece of paintball head wrap. And below it, I always put, "This is not my listing." And then I kind of talk about it. There are things that I personally know about or have found, but sometimes it just like I'm looking for something and I find it through a weird search, whatever, and I kind of show people, what's out there and what kind of
Mhm.
prices you can realize.
But that's the idea.
Exactly. So, like, he just started going off on some of my other some of my other
Yeah.
posts, and I sent him a direct message and I said, "Listen, man, if you need some help with something, I'm totally willing to help you. Um, if you need help with something, you can totally ask questions. If you don't want to ask me, you can ask somebody else. Like, we have a
Yeah.
network of people here that can help you." He was like, "You're spreading misinformation about what people can really do on the internet, and it's fraudulent, and you're harming people." He said something like that, and I said to him, "It sounds like you have a gross misunderstanding about how things work, especially like eBay, and you're gonna have to
Ugh.
find out the hard way or the easy way. And like the hard way is this way, and the easy way is actually like gathering true information and understanding what true information." I kind of went along this whole line.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You're a fraud." And I said, "No one gives a fuck what you think." That's what I said. I said, "No one gives a fuck what you think. Post that on the internet."
First of all, it's
No.
the internet,
Yeah.
okay? So people can post whatever they want. I can post a photo of someone else's sold item. It's irrelevant, you know? If someone doesn't trust your credibility, you cannot prove yourself worthy to them because they've already decided that you're a fraud.
Yeah.
So
I'm not doing this to prove my worthiness to anybody.
exactly. It's like,
here
hey,
to connect.
I'm just sharing the success.
Yeah,
This is a
even
success
I should, dude, that was actually a loss that I was sharing. That was the funny part of it. Like, I should not have sold those for $75 because they were worth way more than that. Way, way, way more than that. Like $100 more than that.
Yeah, but you know what? You just no matter what, you're always gonna deal with trolls. I make like one video a month. Half of my videos are concert videos anyway. But like what I'll do is if I find something that's that I think someone's gonna be able to find that's worth decent money, I'll I'll make a quick little video of 2 minutes. Like I'll give you an example. I think we were talking about this in clothing about like the Coogee sweaters sell really well,
Hmm.
right? So, but there's other brands that are not Coogee, like Tundra and a couple other different brands that look just similar that sell well too.
Yeah, like the
Not this
Norm Thompson made some that are like that.
Norm Thompson, those kind of brands. But obviously, they're still going to bring you 30 to 40, which is, if you're picking it up for $2 at a Goodwill bin, it's still worth picking it up. So
Definitely.
I just made a quick little video. I just showed one. It was a brand called Cotton Traders, and I showed the sweater, and I got I think between 30 and 40, whatever it was. And look, and you can keyword spam it. I put Coogee style. Yes, I know you're not supposed to do that, but I do that.
Ooh,
Um, I know, I know, I'm so bad.
Italian.
But I put Coogee style. So, but I made the video. Make a long story short, I make the video, and I have the same troll who's on every goddamn video that I make, and he says, the usual, you're screwing up the market. I said, look, 30. I get 35 views on my video. How am I screwing up the market?
Dude, yeah,
I
exactly.
get 30.
Like, I have 100, like, are you serious? If what other people are doing is screwing up what you're doing, then you're not doing anything exactly. You're not.
Yeah,
It's like it's
30.
such a dumb. Well, it's not a mentality of like success and abundance. So it's
Mhm.
like we live in an abundant society. It may not be like this forever, but it is right now. So we're all executing on that abundance to make money, to
Hmm.
support ourselves and whatever other enterprises that we want to be involved in. And we're all learning along the way too. No one that I've seen is, well, I mean, there are people who are claiming to be experts, but I'm not.
Who claims to be an expert?
I don't
I
know.
don't. I don't want to go there. I don't want to. I don't want to start. You know.
No. I'm saying there
Troublemaker.
are people claiming to be experts. I'm not saying that they are or they aren't. I'm saying that I am not an expert.
Oh yeah, of course. No, I'm saying. I was just joking, saying like, who out there on YouTube is? Oh, I,
There's some
I am the man.
I mean, dude, if I could hire Pete, like the
Yeah.
Craigslist guy, for like a week and like learn how he runs his business, like if I
Yeah.
could just shadow him for a week and see how he runs that retail business, like
Hmm.
I know that would be way more valuable than just
Anything. Yeah.
about anything else.
Sure. Sure. But what I'm trying to, what I'm looking for, and I know you were getting into it, is like how when you're looking at the pictures on the estate sale, like I go on estatesale.net. I'm sure
Mhm.
that's what you guys use too,
We have
right?
a local site, but we have that here, and it's a good secondary resource for us.
Yeah,
Yeah. Here, everybody uses estatesale.net, and most of the companies they put the pictures on the night, a week or so before. I'm sure you guys do the same thing, and then you you analyze those photos,
Sure.
Oh yeah.
and based on the photos, that's how you say, I'm gonna go into the closet when I first get there.
yeah. You're like, I
You
want to
know,
be the first dude into that closet with a big ass blue IKEA bag.
I got a good story. I got a lot of stories, but I got a good one for you.
Oh.
Okay. So what happened was I saw a sale in a, I mean, look, I'm trying to look for, when you're looking for Robert Graham and Xenia, you got to go to where it's called the North Shore of the island. That's where, people they got, they're very wealthy, in those towns in the North Shore. Okay, they call it the Gold Coast of Long Island, whatever. Anyway, so but I found one sale that was in a crappy area, but I looked at the photos, and you look carefully. And I like to sell rock concert T-shirts. That's something that I look for.
Mm.
Okay, that's like my secondary thing. So anyway, I look and I see a T-shirt on a bed with the script Pink Floyd The Wall. You know what that looks like? Pink Floyd The Wall, Jake.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about? So I seen that, and you know what? When you buy rock concert T-shirts, I've sold a decent amount of rock concert T-shirts. When a guy has one rock concert T-shirt, that means he's got a ton.
Oh yeah.
So I waited. So I drive to this town. Not too. I mean, it was about a half an hour, 40-minute drive. Not like ridiculously long, but it was a little drive. So I got on the line, and I got it. I wasn't too far away. I was only maybe 10, 12, whatever it was, hoping to go in because it doesn't. You don't have to be first at the sale. You just have to be in the first wave. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
they let in 20 people. If they let in 20 people, it don't matter if you're 8 or if you're 15, as long as you get in there on that first wave. Right? Am I right? So I don't know.
Sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong.
Being
Like
one person
totally
behind
depends.
can make a difference sometimes, but I
Absolutely.
think what you're saying is
In
absolutely
general.
You want to be the first one to access certain resources. You can't
Yeah.
access all the resources first, so you want to be in that first group. Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
It's
In that
perfect.
first bunch. So anyway, so I'm waiting on that line, right? And of course, I'm looking at my phone, looking at the pictures. Man, I got to go to the bathroom so bad, you know. And I'm sure this has happened, but
Okay.
you make that decision. You say, look, do I wait online? Because then, because at the sale, they, with the bathroom, they put the first of all, I don't want to blow up their bathroom, obviously. I mean,
if you don't
number
have
two, obviously, number two, no pun intended. They put the caution tape. When there's like a car accident, they put that tape over the bed, right? And they
Yes.
do the same thing by you guys, right? It's the
Yeah,
same
they
thing.
do.
Yep.
They put the caution tape like if you go in there, it's plutonium in there or something. You got to get exposed to something. So anyway, I run up the. So I'm sweating, but I says, you know what? I'm gonna hold tight. I'm gonna tighten it up. So
Lock it up.
All right, so yeah, I locked it up. They let me in, whatever it was. I ran up the stairs. I go to the bedroom, right? The T-shirts are not on the bedroom. I said, "Mother, blah, blah, blah." You've had that happen before. You go there, you think it's there, it's not there. But then I see one of those bins, one of those, plastic bins, whatever it is. And I said, "That's where the clothes is." I open up the bins. I find all the T-shirts in there. The guy had great Grateful Dead for concert T-shirts. You get the right ones; they're worth good money. I found the Rolling Stones, the from the steel, the iconic one with the iconic Rolling Stones logo, whatever it is,
Mhm.
the whatever, the lips or whatever it is.
Mhm.
I got the one of those, a lot of good T-shirts. So here's the best part: I go downstairs, and when you go to the sale, and I'm sure Corey, I'm sure you do the same thing. You just say, what do you guys get on T-shirts? You don't
Yeah.
say, "Oh, by the way, how much is this vintage,
Yeah.
Doors
No.
T-shirt?"
Exactly.
You say,
Yeah.
you just say,
Well,
you say,
I found an old pair of broken shoes over here.
yeah,
What do you want?
exactly. So
Tuck it down.
make a long story short, I tell the guy, the old man, the father, I say, "I got some T-shirts. I think we do $2 on T-shirts." So I rip out the money right away. I had the money in my hand ready. And then the son who runs the company, he's like, "Oh no, that's
Oh
blah
no.
blah blah." So then, of course, but see, the thing is, at that point, you can't bust out the phone because he's standing right in front of you. Because you're like, I got to roll the dice over here because I know they were valuable, but
Right.
you know what I mean. You got to take a chance. You're
You
like,
gotta take a chance, definitely. What did he
so I
want for the
rolled the dice.
shirts?
Yeah, a hundo.
For all of them? How many were there?
It was about 12, about a dozen.
I would pay that in a second.
Yeah, but
I ended
going
up paying it,
two each,
Dude,
man.
I've
but they
sold Grateful Dead shirts for like up to $400.
yeah this one I got the best one. There was like two or three. I got like 65 for one. There were no super home runs.
Okay.
Even the other one didn't only did like $75. I thought it was because that's
12 for
another thing too. With
$100 though makes your average cost what, like
oh
nine
no,
bucks or something?
yeah, no, it was still worth the money. And then there was a couple
Definitely.
of duds in there. Oh, by the way, Billy Joel T-shirts, they're worth shit. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I swear
Shocking.
they are. I thought but you don't know. But you know what? And there was an Eric Clapton in there worth nothing. I was thinking, oh, Eric Clapton, because sometimes but bands like Grateful Dead, like so, when
Led
you look,
Zeppelin is like insane. Led Zeppelin. Um,
Oh, look at
the
that one.
This is my
see,
mom's shirt, so it's not for sale. But it says
but what's the tag say on there? What's the tag?
the
Let me
tag. You can't see anything. It's gone.
Yeah, see,
you really want to know what the shirt brand is that people
It
really want to
says
know.
a peaceful place, or so it looks from space. A closer look reveals the human race, which is a line, but I just always thought that was so great, and it was my mom's shirt, so like
It's a badass shirt.
I know.
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful shirt. I got news for you.
Definitely.
That's a beautiful shirt. You want to keep that shirt.
Yeah, definitely.
But
The
like Corey, like you were saying one time, we were looking at the tag pictures. You could tell by like when and like say it's Anvil. When did they release? Like I found a
mhm.
Marlboro Raglan T-shirt, right? And it was like, I guess maybe you had to do the. Do they still do that? The Marlboro points. You rip off a pack of
No, they
cigarette.
can't do that type of marketing anymore.
No more that's done. But I think that's probably what this came from.
Yeah,
But it was really you could tell from it had the old Anvil tag from like the eight, like you know what I mean. You could tell.
yeah, the cowboy
So,
cash era.
but that Marlboro stuff sells if it's
Oh,
the
it
right
smells
kind of.
crazy.
It needs to be the right stuff though. There's so much of it, like the bags. There's tons of those bags everywhere, and there's tons of like snapbacks and visors and stuff. There's just tons of that stuff.
And they reek so bad.
Ugh.
It all
You smell.
stinks because they're all smokers, man. It all
My
stinks.
grandmother smokes Marlboros like crazy, and she collected thousands of those points and bought all that shit. And of course, it went.
Dude, this
Who
is.
knows where that went?
I'm gonna screen share a shirt that I sold today. You're gonna laugh, Colin. This is hilarious.
I gotta see
I
this. I
actually
love
used
vintage T-shirts.
I use the word horny in the description as well. Because it's like this horny little gas can. That's how I marketed the shirt.
Didn't you actually list that live? I'm
I
pretty
did
sure
list that one live, and I changed it to horny little gas can.
we're developing the title together. It was
Yeah, it's hilarious. There is a video of us. It's during the video when we were talking about T-shirts, I think, right? Maybe. Hold
I
on.
think it was Nike stuff, and you were all
It might have been mixed in with some other stuff. Here it is. It's hilarious. Here, hold on. I'm gonna screen share this so you guys can see it because it's fucking hilarious. The description and
Your
the whole
description
order, the
killed
whole
me.
order. Screen share. All right, can you see this?
Oh yeah, I remember when you bought this one.
It, men's vintage horny little gas can. Because look, he's like look, he's got an erection. Why did they have to put his pocket on his crotch? You can see how paper thin it is, you know.
Yeah, the paper thin. That's a look, and it's a ringer shirt. You know, it's
Yeah,
got the right look. You know,
and it's dude, that's it.
There you go.
that's a see that
19
that
someone just ejaculated.
no
Yep.
but see
That's
what you know, if anybody's there's people still in the, I can't see who's in the chat, but if people are still watching the chat, that tag, the money is in the tag.
It is.
That's you know what, because it's that combo. You look, just look what you look at. That's like let's say that shirt, I didn't even like, if I just saw that in a pile at you know, Goodwill, whatever it is, at the bins, you see it's that blend. Okay, it's an XL, which is good because it's, even though it's an XL, it probably would still fit me like a condom. You know what I mean? The you know, it's an XL and it's the blend and it's what is it saying? It's one other thing.
Hanes
Something
made in
and
the
made in
USA.
USA.
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
and the tag is only been washed once or twice, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. The tag is very crisp,
Yeah, yeah, but the
so that's
shirt's
very
it's a
good.
little bit. Yeah,
Those kind of things are indication of vintage quality.
And also the key is with those shirts, you probably paid nothing for it. It's not like you
I
paid
paid
$10.
I paid $4 a
Oh,
piece for
four.
those because, and I listed it for 50 and sold for 30.
Yeah, that's good.
So cheap to
Quick list.
mail. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a long sale. I love t-shirts. I have a really great t-shirt selection. I've got some really, really rare and cool stuff. I mean, you've seen it.
Sure. But
Um,
now, do you ever go on Defunct?
Defunct? No.
Yeah, it's a huge. I mean, they have literally. I think it's like a third party site, but it's, you know, different resellers on the one site. But they literally have every, like, all the super expensive shirts, like hundreds of dollars. The first thing I do if I find something interesting, I'll go on at Defunct. I think defunct.com, something like that, whatever it is. You know, you can find you know, unique stuff, like, because sometimes with the concert shirt, you want to find, like, not Billy Joel, but you want to find like the Butthole Surfers. You
I
know what I
just
mean?
linked it in the chat for anyone interested in the website. I found it and linked it.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look at it while you're talking.
Oh, it's a dynamite website as a whatchamacallit, as a
Research?
resource. What?
Oh, I have looked at this guy's stuff. Yeah, I like this. I like this one. I like this a lot. I've definitely checked this out.
But what I don't like about it is that I don't like when I see Indonesia and Polynesia and this Nesia, Bangkok.
Amnesia.
Amnesia.
No, because these bands, like, you know, the Smiths never went to Bangkok. So how do they have it? Like, how did these guys get these shirts?
They're
You know what I
fakes.
mean?
Well,
That's what I'm. See,
there's
because
a lot of programs where unsold merchandise just gets bundled together and sold off to miscellaneous countries.
I don't.
So it's not
Yeah,
impossible,
I heard.
but no, I mean, you got to be skeptical.
Yeah, a Kitchens of Distinction T-shirt from 1991. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like this. Like I know the stuff I sell is authentic because I pulled it out of a closet that hasn't been opened since 1974.
and you could smell that you got that.
Get
You were
that
doing this.
odor.
Was
No,
you
I'm
doing the smell?
walking into the home. I mean, it is not any faker. I mean,
Corey gives everything
Yeah, I know.
best.
It's the real McCoy. You're not getting the Fugazi. You're
the
going in there,
Fugees.
you smell it.
What did you
You know
say,
what it is?
Jacob?
Hmm?
What was your comment about me there?
Oh, I said you give everything the sniff test. Even
Well,
me.
yeah, that's how you get that Gucci.
Yeah. What'd you say? Your vintage Gucci with the sniff?
I just sniff everything. I just love weird odors.
No, I do. No, don't laugh. I do the same thing. Especially, I used to resell cars. So like 1970s cars, 60s cars, you open it up and it has a certain smell to it, the vinyl, and it's like, all right, it's the real deal, man. I'm telling you. But now here's another question too. I got to ask you. I got two pieces here. What would you do if you got something fake? I know obviously you don't list it on eBay, but I got this here. I don't know if you could. Is this? Let me see here. I got this jacket. Is this jacket coming in?
Yes.
That is
Can you see-
sick.
What
Yeah,
is that?
Hold on. I can't. Is this thing going in here? You see?
Oh, Montclair.
Montclair.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
it's fake.
They're
Yeah.
always fake. It's so hard
I
to
know.
find real Montclair.
Well, what I bought from an estate sale. I went there at the end of the day, and I bought a lot of suits. I did well. I did well. It was because it was at the it was an end of the day deal. So cashmere overcoats and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. And like I said, I'm trying to expand. I really only do men's, but I'm trying to what was I saying? I'm trying to reach out a little bit. Make a long story short, I said, "What do you want to do on the Montclair?" And this house was, of course, when you go into houses that are expensive, you assume. I mean, look, you assume it's the real McCoy,
Sure.
right? I mean, and it looks real. It doesn't look like something that's fake. I mean, but like you said, it's a lot of fakes out there. Anyway, so she's like, I can't go lower than 50. So I mean, 50, even at 50. I mean, if this was real, a similar style like that is easy 300.
Yeah.
So, and then, but I should have known better. You know how I should have known better? Because see, the suits were a size
Still been
50, sure. And there's not that, even though I kept one of them for myself because it's hard to find a size 50 short. So I kept it for myself, one of them, but I still made good money off the other ones. Because they were like brand new. But I should have known better when a jacket like that is there at 3:00. Like,
Right.
why would that be there at 3:00?
Right.
I should have known better.
Hey,
That can be an indication, but I mean, I don't.
okay.
Not always.
Those are not the rules. There's no. I have a bronze sculpture in my room here, and I never go to the last days of estate sale. This is like
Yeah.
a 30-pound bronze sculpture.
Uh-huh.
Jake has seen it. I bought it on the last day of an estate sale. I think it was supposed to be $22, and it was $11, and there were tons of people in the house walking right past it.
Yeah.
For 2 days. So, I mean, Jake finds things of massive and incredible value.
Last days. I do last days. That's pretty much my thing.
Yeah, but let me tell you. Yeah, but all right, but Corey, that's something that only somebody who knows about that item is going to know it's worth money.
That's not
All
true.
right.
Somebody who's willing to take a calculated risk and
Yeah.
learn can also make money. You don't have
that's
to
true.
know.
But a Montclair jacket that if they've seen it in a department store, they know it's money. You know what I mean? It stands out. Look at this freaking thing. This thing is like
It's amazing. I want to wear. I feel like Missy Elliott. Like,
Yeah.
want to wear that.
No, but and then I got one more thing I got to show you.
So wait, how did you?
I got
What about it gave away? It's
It's my window.
back that it's authentic.
all right. Tell me if this thing is too bright. Let me know. I don't want to blind you guys with this light. I don't even.
What gave away its bonus?
The fake?
Yeah.
The fakeness? No. Phonus? Is that a new word? No.
Faux means fake.
No. I know that. No, because I'm looking for this other thing. I got to show you. Another vintage T-shirt. What to do with it?
Okay.
there's a serial number on the tag, and what you do is you go on their Montclair website, you put the number in, and they say, okay, we're gonna email you it within so many days, whatever it is. And they get back to you. They say, I'm sorry, but to let you know, but it's fugazi. All right, I gotta show you something else, Corey. I've been wanting to show this to you for a while, but I couldn't. Obviously, I didn't know how to get on here. It took me forever. I got this.
Rob had to learn how to use the internet to show me this shirt, so it must be good.
All right, I gotta turn it around, but you see this here? Can you see this?
What? That is
Yeah.
sick. Hold on, wait. Let me put it directly on you, dude. That's crazy.
This is I don't know if I'm showing you right. Is this
No,
good?
you're off to the side. I want to see the tag.
I know, but can you see the whole shirt? Because hold
No,
on, let
I
me go
can't
out.
see the whole shirt. Now I can.
Yeah.
You gotta move it to the left.
Okay, my left or your left? I'm using a cell phone over
I
here.
think your left. Yeah,
What?
yeah. That's it. That's it right there. That's it.
We go.
Okay,
Okay.
but you see it's in Hebrew over here. You see that?
Yep.
Okay, so now here, this is the tag here.
You gotta move.
Okay, tell me when you can see it because
left,
I
left,
can't look.
left. There you go.
Yeah.
What's the tag?
It's a little
Can you see
blurry.
it now?
I can't see the manufacturer.
Yeah, it's from Israel.
Okay.
What it was is like I guess like a parking lot special kind of deal. It's a Dave Matthews from Israel. And I figured here, can you see? Here, it's on the back. It's got some writing here. But it was something I picked up for like $2 at the estate sale. Sometimes, like you said,
Yes.
you see a Dave Matthews. People love Dave Matthews. I don't know why.
What do you have that listed for?
Well, I had it listed for like $35, $40, something like that. But then I got the Vero, or I guess it's called Vero, whatever.
Oh, you got a Vero. I got a Vero the other day.
So now I don't, because it's. They said, oh, you're not allowed to sell, blah blah blah. They give you all that bullshit. So, you know what I mean? They give you that blah 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 the do, and I'm just like, now I don't know how to get rid of this shirt now. So, Craigslist is somebody going to go on Craigslist and buy this?
Go to a Dave Matthews concert. No, yeah, I mean, put it on OfferUp, put it on
Facebook.
put it on Poshmark or whatever those things are.
So should I look? Because I'm kind of new to Facebook.
I would join like a
look.
Dave Matthews like fan group for something like that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate Dave Matthews.
I do too. I'm just saying that's probably your best bet.
I mean,
for
you could probably get
fan.
more than $35 for it, but I mean, it's so it's like it's in the my honest opinion is in the scope of your business in general, like donate it, get rid of it if it's in your way. If you can't sell it in your way, get rid of it.
Well, I mean, the only reason why I don't, because look, sometimes when things are unique, you know what I mean? You kind of feel like that, like, what do you call it? That pleasure of having somebody.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, because it has the Hebrew writing on it. So somebody who's Jewish would say, like, I'm so happy I have a Dave Matthews shirt. I was there in Israel.
Is that your
Oi,
rap?
yeah, you know what I mean.
Oi.
What?
Oi.
Oi.
Here's a Dave Matthews shirt. Oi.
Or you know what I'm saying, but
Mouse says Baba Booey.
But listen, people love Dave Matthews Band.
Absolutely, that's an awesome shirt, and it's a throwback, and you can definitely sell it, but you can't sell it on eBay because if you put it up on there again, they will ban you.
I know, no.
If you get Vero claims, if you get 2 Vero claims for the same item, they'll suspend you for a month. Month. And there's no way to lift. There's no way to lift the suspension.
Ever worth it.
So.
Facebook
because you know what I did. I'm sorry. Go. I'm sorry.
Facebook's probably your best bet for the Montclair too. Just be honest that it's what's the best word for it.
I'm just afraid who's going to show up to my house. You know what I mean?
You don't have anybody come to your house. You meet it.
Oh, so I'm gonna meet him in a parking lot, get robbed in the parking lot. That's better.
You
I'd rather. I
yeah,
got a
meet him in a dark
I got a baseball bat in my garage. You know, at least that will help me out. You know,
Damn.
box or an A&P you can go meet at.
an AMP. You know, no, but look, especially my neighborhood is not so great anymore. So
No, you go somewhere public. You meet in front of the jail. Like,
In front of the jail. That's hilarious.
the police station. Yeah, I'm gonna meet from. Listen, if I meet,
go
look,
some-
I'm not trying to be. You know where I'm going with this. If you're in a parking lot with somebody, and you say, "Oh, I'm just doing a deal on Craigslist," they're gonna say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, come with me."
No, they're not. No.
No, no, they're not.
Come on, don't be ridiculous.
I do
If
that
you're in a
all the
parking
time.
lot, listen. Let me tell you something.
You're
If you see him,
paranoid.
you know, middle aged. If there's a guy, he's middle-aged white guy with a guy who's like, you know, you know what I'm talking. Like, and he's like 19 years old, and he's, you know, thinking, you know, I don't know. Can I say this on YouTube? I don't want people to throw. I don't.
I think we got the
Let's not go down that path. But I think that you're being paranoid. I think you're being very paranoid.
Paranoid.
You know, I live in Portland, the sanctuary for white people. So, you know, we trade on Craigslist. I haven't had any issues, but I don't know. You kind of have to throw out a little bit of trust. You have to throw out.
Now, Jake, are you trying to say that your complexion is your protection?
Yes.
Okay.
I think if you're not willing to meet somebody in person, the Montclair is. I wouldn't do it because I don't think
The fact that you know it's not an authentic one, and if you state that in the listing, you're not going to attract someone who's. I wouldn't imagine that you would attract.
Are you kidding me? Who do you think is going to be looking to buy it? They want a fake one.
gift it.
Someone who can't afford an authentic one, but it looks real. You know?
Yeah, but that guy, I don't want that guy to show up. The guy who can't. You know where I'm going with this, man. Why do I got to do this?
Okay, let's back up. I just think that we live in different places. You're gonna make me. I'm getting.
Okay.
Go back.
I am a great Cornholio. I need to keep it for my landlord.
No, you have to find where your comfort is and the way that you want to transact, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's called eBay.
Where you want to do it.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah, I
eBay. You
think
can't
the
sell that
Montclair
shirt on
is the
eBay.
best, though.
Made in over, so you're not going to sell the shirt. So unless you want to do something else to sell the shirt, you're not going to sell the shirt. There you go, Rob.
You can
Donate it.
Gracias.
still ship something. Like you can make a deal with someone and say, I'm just going to ship it to you for free. If it's like in your same town, you know, it's not going to cost you that much money. And
Nobody in my town is gonna say, "Oh, I'll ship it to you." They're gonna say, "Oh, I'll meet you. You know,
Put it on
7-Eleven
Etsy.
parking lot."
Ansley says, start yourself an Etsy account and all this crap you can't sell it on
That's.
Etsy.
Can you put fake stuff on Etsy?
Not new stuff, only vintage.
You can do vintage fake stuff.
You can do vintage fakes. It might get removed. I've had stuff removed on Etsy.
Really?
hmm
See, that's another thing too. I have a ton of vintage clothing that I want to put on Etsy.
Do it. It's cheap. It's only 20 cents to list things, and their fees, their final value fee or whatever, is super cheap.
Yep.
Oh, really?
hmm
But now, how does it work with PayPal?
No, bank account.
It's like
So
more
there's
like
no-
Amazon where they pay into an account and you disperse.
Yeah, it doesn't connect to your PayPal.
No.
See, I was trying to show you something like vintage clothing. I want to know, like, you know, if it sells like. Well.
I do all right on Etsy. I make a few extra $100 a week.
Yep.
It's not
No, but
paying.
I'm saying, I think, because I have a lot of shirts that I think people are looking for, maybe that's vintage,
do
that's
really
on there. Like, I don't. Tell me if. How the fuck? All right. All right. Tell me if this. Can you see this? Is that?
Yes.
Is that?
I
No.
see your hand.
You're really bad with that phone, dude.
I'm only showing you my trunks.
Phone.
No, I just saw a key. I just saw a key of like the white lobster over there.
All right, but here, now look. Can you see this?
Yeah, I see that.
You see the collar.
Yeah, but you see like these kind of shirt like
Yeah.
this, like.
hmm
That's great on
You do
Etsy.
well. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like you
that's
see
great
this
on
tag?
Etsy.
Can you see this tag here?
Lower.
It's hard to see.
There you go. Yes, Southampton.
Yeah. So like, this is
Yeah.
like what 60s, 70s.
Yes.
That's so. But like this kind of stuff, I have bags and bags and bags of this. You know, the older vintage clothing like that. That I want to give a shot. You know, because I
Men's
think that.
clothing is underrepresented on Etsy. There needs to be more of it, especially. Women's clothing is saturating the market, and I think men's stuff does really well. There's someone on Instagram, his name is Vogue_squared, and he does all vintage menswear on Etsy, like streetwear, 70s, 80s, 90s. Does
All right, 70. Okay.
Cool.
But I wanted to show you something else because I was asking you, like, I picked up this.
We're gonna review one more thing for you, and then we're going to end this show. So let's look at one more item, and then I'm tired, so
Oh yeah.
I'm going to concede this show.
All right. Shit. Nah, it's all right. Forget it. I got stuff. My phone died.
Oh no.
Oh no, his phone died. Oh,
Well, that was kind of perfect timing.
that was hilarious. I'm like, we'll do one more thing, and he's like, oh, my phone's dying.
I
Anyway,
know Krillin is like
dude,
the best
I
ever.
think that's the first. Well, that is the first time Krillin's felt comfortable enough to come live on the internet. Isn't that awesome?
That's
That took a long time to get Krillin out of the old shell. I mean, you
So
don't.
I have an update on the cryptos.
What's up?
So I moved 2 Litecoin onto Binance, and then I exchanged one of my Litecoins for some IOTA and another one for some Ripple
Cool.
and Ether and Binance Coin.
Oh, I like the idea of Binance Coin.
I mean, it's like basically a necessity on Binance.
Well, I mean, you cut your trade cost in half, right, by using Binance Coin. So why wouldn't you? And then the coin could go up in value.
It
It's
has too.
it's like a win-win.
It really is.
Yeah, I like the idea of Binance. I like Binance, like creating that value asset and token. It's pretty cool. So this show started out as a sort of cryptocurrency discussion, but we are all resellers, it kind of devolved into that. Just kidding. That was great to have Rob on the show. It was great to see you, Kayla, as always. Lovely. Let's say bye bye to Kayla.
Just vibrant. Wow.
Yeah, speaking of the glowing, we gotta fix the blue shift on your
I
camera. 'Cause you
tried,
look like
and I
a
actually
vampire.
couldn't find the settings.
You might
I
have to.
can't.
You might have to. There might be some software that you have to install.
Oh.
I
Like
don't think it's that bad.
it's just very blue. Maybe it's just my screen.
Yeah, it's not blue to us. It's just
It
like
looks
bright.
very shifted to the blue. Like Jake looks normal.
Well,
I never look normal because that's yeah. I
Whatever
mean,
that means.
Jake's looks as normal as like as you can.
let's see if there's
Anyway.
something.
So this one, since I didn't say anything too offensive and I didn't play any dead chicken videos, this one will probably be live here on YouTube shortly.
This will actually air.
Yeah. Well, Mark says he only caught the last 40 minutes, but thanks everybody for watching and all that kind of stuff. And come in, join the discussion. That is the purpose of this forum.
Excellent.
I'm sure Kayla is
Yeah.
very sick of talking to me by this point.
Getting old.
Getting old. All right, kids.
Good night.
See ya. Bye-bye.